welcome to Take Me Outside Week. My name is Rachel. I'm the Education Program Coordinator with Take Me Outside, and I am so happy that you are joining us for this live Earth Rangers animal meet and greet. If you want to share in the chat where you're joining from today, we'd love to hear it. If you're also from a school or organization, please let us know what's the name of it. Where are you coming from today? Before we get started, I've got a few just kind of housekeeping things for the over 120 of you that are joining us live right now. If you do require closed captions, I suggest, and you're watching currently on StreamYard, I do suggest that you switch over to YouTube, as YouTube does have a closed caption feature that StreamYard does not. We will have some time for questions at the end. So if you have a question for our Earth Rangers, feel free to pop them in the chat. We can star them as we go along, and then we can ask them at the end of the session. And we do have some prizes to give away. I've got a $50 gift card to the Take Me Outside store and a $50 gift card to the Outdoor Learning School and store to give away to two classes that are joining us live. Now, one of our colleagues' mentors shared this teaching with her, that it's not just about acknowledging the land or the people of a particular land, but asking what this knowledge and feeling compels you to do. And so for this year, for Take Me Outside Day, we wanted to start all of our sessions with a active land acknowledgement exercise to really get us grounded in thinking about a space that is meaningful and impactful to each of us individually. So what I'm going to get everyone to do is just get comfortable in your seat. You can put your head down on your desk if you're sitting at a desk right now. And I'm just going to get you just to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly exhale through your mouth. Now you can do this 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. 1 more time. Breathe in deeply and release. Now, as your breath settles into a natural rhythm, know that there's nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just be present in this moment. Now, in your mind, begin to recall a time when you were outdoors, a moment that felt calm, joyful, meaningful. Maybe it was playing at a park, walking in a forest, going to the lake, waiting for the bus, walking from home from school, or even sitting in your backyard or on your apartment's deck or patio. It can be a memory that makes you feel calm or smile. Now take a moment to really let that memory sink in. Where are you? What do you notice? What colors and shapes fill this memory? Now begin to connect with the sounds of this place. What kind of sounds can you hear in this place? Maybe birds singing, wind in the leaves, or the crunch of gravel under your feet. Let those sounds fill your mind. Take another slow breath in and breath out, nice and slow. Take a moment to silently say thank you to this outdoor place and everything in it. Take a moment to say thank you to the animals, both big and small, that share this space with us. Take a moment to say thank you to the Indigenous people who steward and care for the land, both before us and who continue to do so today. Now, when you're ready, imagine this memory slowly fading. Know you can always visit it again. And anytime you want to feel calm, strong, or happy, now wiggle your fingers and toes and take one big breath in and let it out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Now, when I do this exercise, I'm taken to a place by my house. And so this is a picture of me and my dogs walking along the river, the shores of the Red River, where I call home. And this is where I feel deeply connected to the land. I have such a deep gratitude for the lessons that the land has taught me through the seasons. And both for the Indigenous people, I'm sorry, I've got a frog in my throat, and for the Indigenous people who have stewarded these lands and waters. Now, I'm very honored to live and learn on Treaty 1 territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Innuit, and the Dakota, which is also the national homeland of the Red River Métis. And so throughout this week, we really invite you all to give thanks to the places that you visited during this exercise. And so we ask you to learn more about whose traditional lands these are. And throughout the week, we ask you to create a living land acknowledgement. And now, a living land acknowledgement is a land acknowledgement that goes beyond a simple statement. It's dynamic, alive, and embodies action and commitment to truth and reconciliation. In these acknowledgements, you not only recognize the truth and local history of the land you're on, but also provide an opportunity to express meaningful gratitude for the original caretakers of the land and the gifts the land offers. Now, the moment, the people we're really here for, I'm just going to remove this and bring our Earth to the stage. So today I am here with Lisa and Michaela, and I believe some of their animal friends. So I'm going to pass it over to them, and they're going to share with you a little bit more about Earth Rangers.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I am Earth Ranger Michaela. We are joined here today by my awesome colleague, Earth Ranger Lisa, and we are here to show you some amazing animals. Earth Rangers is the kids conservation organization, the largest of its kind in the entire world. And we teach kids just like you how to protect animals and how to protect their habitats as well. In today's show, we're going to show you some amazing animals live right here, and we're going to ask you if you have any cool questions. This is an interactive presentation, so if you have any questions, just feel free to type those in the chat, and we'll see if we can answer a few of those questions. So without further ado, we're going to introduce you to our first animal with our friend Earth Ranger Lisa and Jazz.
Hi, everybody. As Michaela said, I am Earth Ranger Lisa, and this is Jazz. And Jazz is a black and white tegu. So she's a large lizard found in South America in areas like Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Paraguay, or Uruguay. So there they will live in grasslands and some wet habitats. So Jazz here, they are omnivores. So does anyone know what omnivores like Jazz might eat? If you know, you can put it in the chat. And while you put in some of your guesses, I'll talk a little bit about how she finds her food. So in the wild, they use their tongue. So as she's doing right now, she's sticking out her tongue, and what she's doing is she's smelling or tasting the air. What she does is she has a forked tongue, so she collects particles on the tips of each tongue, or each tip, brings it back into her mouth, and then on the roof of her mouth is an organ called Jacobson's organs, and there she puts each tip into the organs, and there she can tell what direction the scent on each tip of her tongue is coming from. So she can tell if one direction there is a nice piece of, let's see what people are guessing, leaves, plants, bugs, animals, meat, plants, lots of plants and animals and bugs. Exactly. So they're omnivores, so she will eat all of that stuff. She'll also eat fallen fruit and eggs, anything that she can find, basically. So they are very opportunistic omnivores, which means they will eat basically anything that they can find, which makes them really valuable to the environment because they are out there and they help to keep the environment clean by eating things that that are left behind. They're also really good in helping to pollinate and grow other plants and trees around because they will eat seeds. They may eat some fallen fruit, ingest it, it has some seeds in it, and then they walk around a little bit and they go further away, and then they do what most animals do, is they will poop. So she can poop out these seeds and help to spread and help to distribute those seeds into other areas, and it helps growing future trees and everything. So Jazz here. So there's a question: how old is Jazz? So Jazz is 5 years old now. So she's pretty much full grown. She's pretty big here. They actually grow really fast. So she was full grown within the first year or so. She wasn't mature enough to be able to reproduce. She is now, but at that point she wasn't. But they do grow quite fast. When they're young, they might not eat as much that they would now, like rodents and things like that. They will also eat more insects and smaller items. But now she's big enough that she loves her rodents and fruit. So she is part of the whiptail family. So let me just show, she's got this really nice tail, long tail here. So that tail helps for a few reasons. So one, she can use it to protect herself. So if there's a predator that she feels is coming around, then she can use it to whip them and then chase them, scare them away, or it just gives her time to escape as well. They can use it just to threaten and make herself look nice and tough. They also, what else they can do with their tail is if a predator happens to grab their tail and latches on to the end of the tail and she can't get away, she can actually release her tail. So they have a spot on the base of their tail called a fracture point, and they can actually release it. And then it leaves the predator with the end of her tail, and then she can escape off into a nice safe area. And it will grow back. They constrict the blood vessels in that, so she won't bleed too much. She can close it back up. She will regrow a new one. It won't quite be as nice and long because she can't regrow the bone, but it will mostly be cartilage. So how fast is she? So they're they can actually run pretty fast. They can run around 10 to 15 kilometers an hour if they wanted to. Do we, how big, how many legs? Oh, I guess that's eggs. How many eggs does she lay? They can lay a couple clutches a year potentially, sometimes one, sometimes two, depending on the season, and usually around 15 to 25 eggs. And she does protect her eggs. She helps to protect them from predators. She'll help to keep them warm, and she'll help to try and keep the humidity up so that they can hatch several months later. And she will stay with them for a little bit just to help teach them how to fend for themselves, how to find food. And so, yeah, they do help raise the young, the females. The males don't do as much of that. It's mostly just the females. Let's see what else is there. I guess, Stephen and I'm not sure. How old does Jazz swim? Yeah, Jazz can swim. They're actually pretty good swimmers. Their main mode wouldn't be swimming, but if they are in the water, they are able to. They have strong, powerful legs that they can use to swim. They can also use these strong legs, and they have sharp claws that you can see to help dig, so they can dig burrows to lay their eggs. They can dig for insects. And that. But I think we're getting ready for our next animal ambassador. So keep your questions coming in for your next one. And if we have time, we can try and answer some of the other ones. All right. I think you guys did a great job.
All right, everyone, just getting our next animal ready. This here is Coho, and I'm sure a lot of you already know what Coho is, but for those of you that don't, he is a bald eagle. Now, these incredible creatures are actually endemic to North America. Now, that means that you can find them all the way from Alaska down to parts of Mexico. Now, that means that we here in Canada are really, really special, as well as the United States, because no one else in the world gets to observe these amazing creatures in the wild. Now, If you ever want to look for one of these animals in the wild, today is all about taking us outside. So a great place to look for bald eagles would actually be in a forested area near a body of water. And that's because of the type of food that bald eagles eat. They actually are piscivores, which means that they eat majority fish. So they're going to use all of their amazing adaptations to find their prey. Now, one of their first amazing adaptations is their incredible eyesight. Now, Coho has some incredible eyesight that he's able to see from really far distances away. And so usually bald eagles will sit out in a tree and look and scan the body of water that they are staying beside. So, like I said, if you're ever on the hunt to see a bald eagle in the wild, your best bet would be to look close to a body of water in a forested area. Now, let's go back to why they are called bald eagles. Now, it doesn't look like Coho is bald, and now it's actually because he's got this white head. Because in Old English, bald eagle or bald actually means white-headed. So they have this amazing, striking white head that is very unique to this bird of prey. So now Coho didn't always look like this. So bald eagles are actually born completely brown with feathers. So they're born with a down feather, so they do get these feathers at about 1 year of age, but they don't get the white head or the white tips of their tail until they're about 5 years old. And now this signifies maturity. So it tells other bald eagles that are flying around that this bald eagle is not mature yet. So the white head shows that they are of maturity and that they are more better hunters than the other animals as well. So they have these brown feathers until they're about 5 years old, which is really amazing. Now, I did talk about what they do eat, and like I said, they are amazing hunters at catching fish. And now you can probably see Coho's got these really long talons and these awesome feet that are super, super strong. They have about 300 psi, so that grip strength is really strong. So they're able to catch really large fish. Now, another really cool adaptation that allows them to be great fishermen is that the bottom of their feet actually is like sandpaper. So it's really, really rough. Because if you've ever been fishing before, you can notice that fish are really slimy and sometimes hard to grasp. But bald eagles here are perfectly adapted for just that. Like I said, they have those sharp claws that they can pierce through the fish, but they also have that really rough side on the bottom of their feet to get a good grasp on their prey. Now, if a prey item is ever a little bit too large, they can actually swim themselves to shore. So they are able to use their really, really strong wing muscles to swim themselves to shore if they ever grab onto a prey item that is a little too large. Now, I did a lot of talking, so let's see these chats. Okay, how old is Coho? That's a great question. Coho here is actually 23 years old. So it sounds like that's pretty old for a bird of prey, but Coho here and bald eagles in general can actually live up to 50 years old. So he's only about middle age, which is really incredible. What do we see? How far is his wingspan? So his wingspan is actually about 6 feet in length, which is pretty incredible. I know he doesn't look that big, but his wingspan is pretty large. All right. Let's see, what kind of fish do they eat? Well, it depends on the region that they are from, but they actually like salmon. And a cool fact, the reason why Coho gets his name Coho is because of the type of salmon that they love to eat. All right. How tall is he? All right, so Coho is going to show us that amazing wingspan there, blow all of our papers around. That's all right. So you can see that amazing wingspan that he's got there. So he's about 3 feet tall. And like I said, Coho is full grown. So he is on the smaller side when it comes to bald eagles. Now, the females are generally a lot larger than the males. And that's because females in general, when it comes to birds, are the ones that have to carry eggs. So they do need to be a little bit larger to be able to hold eggs. But they also do a lot of the parental care. In bald eagles in general, they are monogamous, which means that they will live with their partners for their whole lives, and they do share the parental care as well, which is really amazing. All right. Do they eat plants? No, they are completely carnivores. Like I said, they mostly eat fish, but they do sometimes eat mammals and other birds as well. Now, something really cool about bald eagles is that they actually pirate food from other birds because they're so big. Is that larger or smaller birds of prey obviously would be a little bit scared of them, so they do tend to steal food from other birds, which is really cool. Do eagles make the big nests? That's a great question, and I love this question because their nests are really incredible. Now, their nests can actually be 6 feet long and sometimes up to 4 feet deep, which is really, really incredible. And that's because they occupy the same nest sites every single year. So they continue to add more material every year that goes by, so they get bigger and bigger, which is really, really cool. How fast can they fly? You know what? They can't fly that fast compared to our other bird of prey friend, the peregrine falcon, who is the fastest animal on our planet. Now, peregrines can fly about 360 kilometers per hour, but coho here can probably fly about 60 kilometers per hour. So still pretty fast, but not as fast as the peregrine falcon. All right, let's see a few more questions here. Is it hard for him to hold on your arm? You know what? That's a great question. I love to say that I'm really, really strong, and I'm pretty strong. But coho here is actually not as heavy as he looks. Now, birds actually have hollow bones, and they're not that heavy because, well, they need to fly. And for the most part, they are feathers. So if you want to get some guesses in the chat, let's see, how heavy do we think coho is? Before I do the grand reveal, what do we think? If we can get some guesses in the chat, how heavy do we think coho is? I'll wait for those guesses to come in. Like I said, they do have hollow bones and they have a lot of feathers. So he's not as heavy as you think. Okay, we have a first guess here, 10 pounds, 16 pounds. All right, 20 pounds. Awesome guesses, everyone. 15. You know what? These are some really good guesses, and I might have given you a hint, but coho here is actually only about 6 pounds. So he's not heavy at all. Well, he is a little bit heavy to hold on my arm for that long, but 6 pounds is actually not as big as you might think. Pretty cool there. All right, well, those are some amazing questions. I love all the guesses in the chat, but we have another really cool animal coming up just in a second.
All right, so I am joined here with Finn, and Finn is a red fox. Now, red foxes you can find pretty much all over the world, on almost every continent, and because they do very well in the wild. They're very adaptable, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So Finn, so even though he is a red fox, that's what they're known for, this nice red color. They actually aren't always red. Sometimes they might be gray or silver or brown. There's different variations. Even within the same litter, they can vary a little bit. But this red with the white tip of the tail, white face, and looks like he's wearing little black stockings. That's what the most common color is for the red fox. So Finn is, how old is he now? He is 11 years old now. So he's getting up there in age. If they can live similar to a medium-sized dog, so they could live 12, 15 years. So he's still got a lot of time in him. So he has this nice coat. So it's actually in between seasons right now. So in the summertime, it's actually pretty short. And just because it's hotter, so they shed it all off. But now that it's starting to get cooler, it's starting to thicken up a little bit and it's starting to grow. And if you see him again in 2 months from now, once the snow is here, he's going to look twice as big as he does now because his coat gets so fluffy. And his tail will probably double to triple in size looking, just because it'll be so fluffy. And that helps keep them warm at night. Normally adult red foxes, they don't go into dens or anything. They generally sleep out in the open, or they'll sleep under a bush or around some logs or something. So what they'll do is they'll just curl up into a little circle. They'll wrap that tail around themselves just like a big scarf, and it helps keep them warm. Now, let's see, how fast can foxes run? They can actually run pretty fast. They can run around 40 to 60 kilometers an hour when they're out there. They're also very agile, so they're able to not climb trees, but they're able to jump pretty high. They can jump fences. They can kind of climb up trees a little bit to get to the lower branches. So they are very agile. They're kind of cat-like in that way. What am I feeding him? So why don't you put in the chat, what do you think they would eat in the wild? What types of food do you think red foxes would eat? How much can he hear? So red foxes they have very good senses. So all of their senses are enhanced. And that's one way that makes them so successful in the wild, because they can use their hearing to listen they can hear a mouse if it's underneath the snow. And they'll do that typical fox pounce that you might see, where they jump up in the air and land straight down with their front feet, break through the snow, and then they can catch little rodents and stuff under there. They also use their eyes. So they can use their eyes to see birds flying overhead, or they can find some nice fruit or something on a bush. So they can use their eyes to find food, and they also use their nose. So their nose is also very enhanced, so they can sniff out bugs or anything underneath the ground. Actually, I'm giving away everything that they eat. Dog food, little chunks of meat, rodents, rabbits, birds. Basically, they'll eat all of that. They are not fussy. Similar to Jazz, they're opportunistic omnivores, so they will eat whatever they can find. And so that's one of the reasons they're so successful, because they can change per season as well. So in the summer, they might eat more berries and insects, and in the winter, maybe more rodents that they find under the snow. In the spring, maybe it's more bird eggs, and small little baby birds and things like that. So they're easy to adapt to their food. They can find their food very well. Plus, they are able to adapt to all different environments. So they're able to live in forests and grasslands, wetlands. You might even see them in your own backyard. So during, trying to get outside, if you want to get outside, if you want to try and see a red fox, they are hard to find. Because they have such good hearing, they do hear you way before you usually be able to see them. But you might get a glimpse of them, especially dawn or dusk. That's when they like to come out for the most part. Once it starts getting a little bit darker and it's a little bit quieter out there, then they'll start come out and doing some hunting. So if you're really quiet while you're outside, you might get a glimpse of them. You don't have to worry about them. They are harmless. They're more afraid of you than you would be of them. They won't, unless they feel threatened, like they think you're going to go after, like steal their young or hurt them. They will leave you alone. They're not going to come after you at all. So you don't have to worry about them. People worry about kids and dogs and that. Maybe a small dog or a small cat you might want to watch, but in general, if there's a fair-sized dog, they're not going to go after a dog. Do they hunt in packs or alone? That's a good question. So generally, they're more solitary. Sometimes when they're young, you might have a couple siblings, a couple males together, or it might just be mom with a few of her kits. They might, but once they reach older age, generally they're more independent and on their own. What does this call sound like? So they're actually very, very interesting. They have so many different vocalizations. They have like a high-pitched yelp that they can do if they alarm as an alarm call. And they have like a lower grunting noises when they're happy. They have so many different vocalizations that they use to communicate with each other. So they'll communicate through their vocalizations. They also communicate with their tail to each other, so they can use that to communicate. They also use their tail for other reasons too. They can use it to keep warm, but also they can use it to help balance. When they're running around and jumping through over logs and that, they can use it to help balance. So it does help them quite a bit. Are they nocturnal animals? So yeah, they're mostly out at night or dawn and dusk. That's generally when they come out, but you don't normally see them in the day, but you still might. Maybe they got disturbed and so they started wandering around. It doesn't mean that they have rabies or anything like that. You just got lucky. Let's see what else. When is Finn's birthday and how long do they live? So his birthday is in April. I can't remember the exact date. I think it actually might be around the 9th. And he was born in 2014. So he is 11 years old now. So he is full grown. There's a question, how big will they grow? They actually grow quite fast. So when they're born, there's usually about 4 to 6 kits, and their eyes are closed. Mom looks after them, nurses them for the first couple weeks, but they actually start growing in their teeth and start hunting with mom and that a little bit when they're 3-4 weeks old. So they actually grow quite fast. What else is there? How do they protect themselves from predators? So they do have sharp teeth, so they can bite. They have sharp claws so that they can use to claw, but they also have speed. So if they don't think they can take on a bigger predator, they're pretty quick and agile that they can easily escape and go somewhere safe. How much can he hear? I think we talked about that. Okay, well, I think Ben did an awesome job here. So we will bring out the next animal ambassador.
I'm sorry, Phineas. All right, everyone. Our next animal needs a little bit more prep, but maybe we can get some guesses in the chat what we have coming out next. She's going to get their tree up over here and pull her table out just a little bit. Perfect. All right, my friends. See if we can see her perfectly over here. We're going to see if she wants to come on out. Amazing. Now this is Quillo, and Quillo is a prehensile tailed porcupine. Now Quillo is going to show us her amazing climbing skills like she is right now, showing us right here. She's going to climb all the way to the top, just like that. And you might be able to see as Quillo climbs that she has that really amazing tail. Now, her tail is prehensile, like I said. That's where they get their name from. Now, prehensile means that they can grasp things with it. So it's kind of like a fifth limb. So you can see that she's grasping that tree branch right there. And that's how she's able to steady herself in the trees. Now, Quillo here is from South America. So prehensile tail porcupines, you're going to find in the rainforest of South America. Countries like Peru, Uruguay, Bolivia, and Brazil. All of those amazing countries that have rainforests in them as well. And now you can see that she's climbed all the way to the top of this tree. And that's because in the wild, they are actually an arboreal species of animal. So they're going to be living in the trees for most of the day. So they have that amazing climbing ability. You can see that she uses her tail there, but they are also nocturnal. So they're going to be sleeping during the day, but at nighttime, they're going to come on out and look for food. Now, Quillo here is an herbivore, which means they eat all different types of fruits, nuts, seeds, all of that amazing stuff. But they also eat parts of the tree bark. So they have these amazing teeth. Quillo here is a rodent, similar to a mouse or a rat and a guinea pig. So she is of the same family of the rodent family. And now a characteristic of rodents is that they actually have ever-growing teeth. So they have those really long teeth, actually similar to a beaver as well. So their teeth are going to continue to grow, which makes them amazing candidate to eat all kind of hard things like the layers of tree bark so that they're able to gnaw down their teeth. Another really cool thing is that Quillo, you can see, has these amazing curled claws. It's another amazing fact that she can use to pull branches closer to her so that she can eat all of the yummy fruits and nuts and seeds that grow on the tops of trees. Pretty amazing. Now, one of the most striking features of Quillo is all of her amazing quills. Now, you can see here that she is covered from the tip of her nose, or the base of her nose, all the way down to the tip of her tail. So Quillo here is actually covered in about 30,000 quills, which is really amazing. Now, this is her main defense mechanism. But I'm about to bust a myth for you all here, is that they actually can't shoot their quills. A lot of people talk about their quills being able to be shot out, and that's their main mode of defense, but that's actually a myth. Porcupines cannot shoot their quills, but their quills are actually barbed. So they actually are able to embed themselves in a predator's skin, and they won't be able to come out. So the tips of her quills are barbed. So if a predator does ever come in contact with her quills, they will stick into their face, which might be an issue for some dogs. So we don't have porcupines like Quillo here in North America, but we do have the amazing North American porcupine. So they're a lot larger than our friend Quillo here, but they do have the same characteristics of quills, which is really amazing. Awesome. So we have some questions here. What is she eating? All right. Like I said, Quillo is an herbivore. So she eats all different types of fruits and nuts and seeds. And this is kind of like a mushed up version of all those amazing nutrients that Quillo would eat in the wild. It's her favorite snack. But something really cool is, like I said, she does eat fruits. So Quillo is really picky when it comes to her fruits, and she loves bananas. Quillo will do just about anything for a banana, which is really cool. She saves the best for last always. We have some more questions here. How old is Quillo? Quillo is, I think, about 9 years old. I think that's correct. Yeah, Quillo is about 9 years old, and these amazing porcupines can live to be about 15 years old. So she's got a lot of amazing years left with us here. How many babies can they have? This is an amazing question. I love talking about porcupines babies because they have the cutest names ever. A baby porcupine is actually called a porcupet, which is so adorable. And Quillo here, and porcupines in general, will actually only have one baby at a time. So they'll have one porcupet at a time. And a really cool fact about their babies is that they aren't born with quills. So their quills actually will develop later. They actually will develop within a week of being born, but they are born with these things called guard hairs. So they are born a bright orange color, which is so silly and fantastic as well. Quillo's munching away over here. So they're born without their quills, but their quills are amazing. They are made of a really strong material called keratin. Now, keratin is the same material as our hair and as our fingernails. So it is really, really strong. So Quillo's quills here are actually just a modified quill. All right, can they roll into a ball? They cannot roll into a ball, but they do something really cool when they are ever threatened by predators, is that they will actually tuck their head into their belly so that none of the parts that don't have quills are exposed. And they will actually raise all their quills to look like a ball. So maybe they can roll into a ball, which is really cool. Like I said, they spend most of their time in the trees, so they don't have to worry too much about predators. However, they cannot jump from one tree to the other. They cannot swing on their tail from one tree to the other. So the only time that they will ever come down from a tree is if they ever have a gap too far between two trees that is too far for them to reach to the next tree branch. So they will actually go down and then scale up to the next tree. How fast can she run? Not very fast, but she can run on her back feet, which is really cool. And like I said, she has a lot of long nails. So what I like to say is Quillo looks like when she's walking that she just got a fresh new manicure that she doesn't want to ruin. How heavy is she? Well, she is about 13 pounds. How heavy is Quillo? What do you think? Hold on. How heavy is Quillo, Lisa?
Quillo is 4.2 kilograms, so that's about almost 9 pounds.
9 pounds. Okay, I was close. All right. We have some more questions here. Oh, okay, perfect. Well, I can talk more about Quillo, and she has these amazing whiskers. So she has all of these amazing whiskers that allow her to sense predators. Like I said, they don't have the best eyesight, but they do have all of these amazing sensory modalities that allow them to sense what's going on around them. So right now, Quillo is really relaxed and she's having a nice snack, so she's not in any danger. She's going to show us how she comes down from the tree now. You going to show us how you come down, Miss Quillo? There you go. Awesome job, Quillo. So they don't have the best eyesight, but they do have all these whiskers that allow them to sense if there's ever a predator coming on nearby. Should come down this way. Here you go, Miss Quillo. Perfect job. And like I said, they her quills, when she is relaxed, are straight flat down to her body. You can come down, Quillo. Good job, sweet girl. But if she's ever threatened by a predator, she will raise her quills really straight in the air so that she looks a lot bigger than she is to maybe ward off a predator. All right, so we are going to go over to our next animal in just 1 second here. I think Quillo did such a fantastic job. All right. Here we go.
Hi. So while Quillo comes down, we'll move on to our next one here. And this is Gizmo. And Gizmo is a Eurasian eagle owl. So you won't find them here in Canada. You'll find them in parts of Europe and Asia. They're actually pretty widespread there. Now, Gizmo is similar to Coho, the eagle. They are carnivores, so they mainly eat rodents, small rodents, and other small mammals, some birds. One difference, though, between eagles and owls is that owls swallow their food whole. So they don't rip it up or chew it, or not chew it, rip it up using their feet and beak like hawks, falcons, and eagles do. They actually swallow whole. So they just, yeah, they're able to just swallow it whole. But unlike some of those other birds of prey too, they aren't actually able to digest all of the bones and the feathers. They can digest some of the smaller bones, but not all of them, and all the fur and feathers of their prey. They're not able to digest. So a lot of you kids, you might have learned that in school. You might have gone outside, gone in the forest, gone for walks, and found a little weird looking little oval thing, and that is their pellet. So that's the regurgitated food that they were not able to digest. And some school groups will go out and they will go and collect those things, because if you take it apart, it's actually quite interesting, because a lot of times you can get an idea of what they had for dinner the day before. You might find a skull in there, or you might find some pieces of bone, and you might be able to identify it. So how old is he? So Gizmo is, he was 2000, he's the same age as, no, he's a year, he's 10, actually. He was born in 2015, so he turned 10 in February. What is his wingspan? So his wingspan is around 5 to 6 feet. It's quite large. It doesn't look like it when he's all just sitting here on the glove, but you can, I think you guessed how much Coho weighs. So take a guess at him. What do you think that Gizmo might weigh? Can they turn their heads all around? So it's not quite true that they can go 360 degrees around. They can go about 270. So they can go to the back and then to the side. They don't need to go all the way around, because if they want to see there, they just turn their head the other way. So they only have to go about 270, and they're able to do that because they have some extra vertebrae, which enables them to have better motion in their neck. And they have to have that because, as you can see, his eyes are they're more like us. They're straight in the front of their face. It's not on the sides. So they don't have a lot of peripheral vision like some of the other birds do. So they need to be able to turn their head around like that so that they can see all around them. Can they see well? So they can see well, but better at night. They are meant for, they're built for hunting and doing all of their eating in the evening. So their eyes are specially designed to see in low light and dark situations. They can see in the light, but usually in the wild they will sleep more. He does have these beautiful colors. They'll just turn their back, face a tree, and they blend right in with the trees, and you won't even notice that he's there. So his weight, how much does he weigh? Did we get 3 pounds was a guess. So he weighs, you're pretty close. He's actually just over 3 pounds. He was, oh, there's his hoot. So they're not always vocal, but around this time, so October to December, they're getting into breeding season. So they start to make that hoot. They're just starting to look for a mate. So his hooting will get even more loud and more frequent as we get into the winter season. And then they'll breed, and then they'll have lay their eggs in the following spring. But I think we are actually getting close to wrapping up. So I will pass it back to the hosts.
Hi, yes, awesome. Thank you so much. And special thanks to all of the animal friends that joined us. And thank you, Lisa and Michaela, so much for sharing more about animals and giving us your time. Yeah, if you had a special moment or animal that really stood out to you, feel free to let us know in the chat. What was your favorite animal friend that we saw? Yeah, sorry, we are running just a little bit over time. So I'll just kind of do a couple quick closing things here. Tomorrow is Take Me Outside Day. We have 2 amazing sessions happening. 8:30 Pacific time, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, we have Hannah Flores, who will be doing a nature poetry writing session. And then at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we have Remy Roden, who will be doing a sing-along with his environmental eco songs. I do have some prizes that from folks that I picked that joined the session. I will email those out at the end of day today. And of course, we always want to see your photos and hear how you're getting outside. So please feel free to tag us, use the hashtag TakeMeOutsideDay, or you can also email those photos to us at info@takemeoutside.ca. And I just want to say a special thanks to both Earth Rangers for joining us for today's session, as well as all of our partners that donated prizes and resources for the week. And we also would love to know in the chat, how are you planning to get outside today? You can share that. And we hopefully will see you at another future session. Happy trails, everyone.